Hello and welcome everyone to finally a new edition of the ECD Live talk here today. I know it's been a long time. We took a bit of a break. So did the ECD event took a break. And the good news is that we are back as ECD Live, and the ECD as an event is also back already next week. So I'm super excited anyway because it's only 1 week to go. And extra excited because of my very special guest here today, because it is a special edition as part of the big ECD event next week. The ECD Live invited our ECD main sponsor, which is SCAYLE, the commerce engine SCAYLE, powered by About You. Dare to say that. We can talk about that later. Here to that one-to-one call, which is a great pleasure today to welcome the Director Growth of SCAYLE, Tobias Ring. Hello and welcome, Tobias.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks. Very much appreciate that we have the opportunity to speak today.
And so do I. Before we get into it, with the name, because when I had the mailing with your colleague Anna, she always mentioned Toby. So you tell me, Toby or Tobias?
Toby is working nicely.
Okay, I'm Alex, so that's fine then. 4-letter, both of us. Okay, Toby. Before we start with the content part, let us know who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Director Growth Services at SCAYLE, and in that role responsible for all our new business across the various markets we are now active in, and then also I would say the business service support for all our existing clients we have. Historically, I come very much from a business background, have spent various years at Bain & Company in strategy consulting, so always very much focused on the value add we with SCAYLE can bring to the customers. Live here in Hamburg, 32 years old, and looking forward to become a dad in September. So quite exciting year for me.
I mean, we could talk about that for a bit, to be honest. But yeah, it's an interesting backstory you're having. So how did you find your way to our marketplace business then, finally, when you come from a total different background, as it seems?
Yeah, exactly. So I think the crossroad is very much that I had always strong interest in commerce, in digital transformation. While I was working at Bain, I consulted basically technology clients, but also consumer goods and retail clients. So I had throughout the years large exposure. Also had the luck to work in San Francisco for a certain time period to consult there the big tech companies. And that ultimately brought me then one day together with Tarek in Hamburg. And there, I would say 2.5 years now, more or less ago, the journey at SCAYLE started for me.
So you've really been to that Silicon Valley.
Yeah, exactly. So me and my wife went over in 2021 for a little bit more than a year. We lived in San Francisco and I worked in Silicon Valley. So definitely a great time we spent there.
Wow. Well, that's an interesting thing because it's just that la la land everybody's talking about in our tech industry, and being there might be also a bit coming back down to earth because it's real people doing real jobs. But it's an interesting experience for sure, and helps you in your job at SCAYLE for sure. Where we try to build the bridge now to dive in a bit. So looking at the inside of SCAYLE. I mean, SCAYLE is a bit talk of the town at the moment, so I would say. And I have a quote here from your website that I borrowed. SCAYLE is the commerce engine that enables brands and retailers to scale, without a Y, their business or businesses. I mean, this is not new. Scaling the business is a promise that you hear here and then from others too. But what would you think, maybe of one thing or several things that really is the difference between SCAYLE and other B2B commerce engines? Or is the phrase commerce engine already something, would you say, that is special?
Yeah, so I think definitely the phrase was well thought through when we opted for that. But generally speaking, there are three main key differentiators, I would say. Number one is a modern architecture, which is headless, API-driven, cloud-native, and composable, which gives all our clients the full flexibility to adjust the shop backend to their needs in terms of third-party integration and also in terms of scalability. So I think that is already a big differentiator. Which comes very much from the fact that we have been starting developing SCAYLE back then under name 8 or 9 years ago, So basically had the blessing of late birth, as we always call it, and basically adopt a modern architecture. So that's number one, I would say. Number two is clearly quite feature-rich backend, in particular for B2C lifestyle brands. So initially had to serve About You, but now also various other online shops with a strong PIM and OMS search included as well. So you take out a little bit the complexity of a microservice architecture by providing quite extensive features already out of the box. And then thirdly is, I would say, due to our heritage, that we have very much business focused, and support our customers throughout the life cycle with always a great mind on business and commerce topics, and are not just a software player, so to speak.
Yeah, that's interesting. I come to that later because this is a very crucial part for me. I think there are a lot of players emerging at the moment that have this contemporary architecture, so to speak, but your heritage and your, for sure, certain and very specific or special service approach, I mean, stands out for sure in the industry, even with About You. I think that's the case. When I was preparing for that interview, I remember years ago, I don't know where it was, Tarek Müller, by the way, for those who don't know, right, is the founder of About You, or the mastermind, and also the mastermind behind SCAYLE, so to speak. Don't know exactly his official role, but he's the one who centers down everything, right? And he once said, and this is a quote that I take with me for a long, long time: we're a tech company, and that happened to end up in fashion. And that is highly interesting also, together with you said, because you didn't mention fashion with one word. So to me, it seems that SCAYLE kind of is not only the logical conclusion, maybe, out of the development of Tarek's ideas of developing tech to a really modern contemporary setup, but also maybe the final late birth to the idea he initially had, now without that fashion retail part. Would you say that is true, or am I going too far here?
No, I think you're very much spot on. Yeah, so it's indeed that the three founders, I must say, not only Tarek but also Sebastian Betz and Hannes Wiese, have been from day one very much technology and commerce focused. Yeah, so none of them was really into fashion, to my knowledge. So they had various businesses they have done before About You, in particular Sebastian and Tarek, who are more commerce or technology related. So when they started here from day one, they knew that one day they would like to productize the shop software they have developed for About You. So it was clear from day one that this is going to happen one day. We started doing so in 2018 with the first clients, obviously also coming from the Otto group, but also, for example, Marc O'Polo, who moved first to our platform. And then I would say with SCAYLE, the brand name launched in November 2021, it was rather a positioning and branding perspective, less so a change in the product.
So just to get this right again, so Marc O'Polo used your, let's say, commerce engine services already before SCAYLE existed, is that right?
Exactly, yeah. They still have contracts where About You Commerce Suite, I think, is written on.
Okay. You have to migrate them then in the end before that.
Yeah, at the end there's little change, yeah, except of the logo. So I think we can work with that.
Okay, great. So that means in the end, you're not limited to the world of fashion. I mean, you just mentioned Marc O'Polo, which is a very well-known fashion player in whole Europe, I must say. You're open to all D2C players, or is it really focused on fashion because you have the most experience here?
Yeah, no, it's indeed open to all D2C plays. Yeah, and we always say it needs to be D2C lifestyle, but it can be there fashion, home living, beauty, personal care, sports, or whatever. Whenever standardized goods are sent to the end consumer, then we are the right system to talk to. Yeah, and I think obviously historically we had a lot of fashion customers, or still have, which rather come from the heritage of relationship with About You, knowledge of SCAYLE. But when I look at the wins we had this year, vast majority is basically non-fashion. And we have already with Fielmann, Bayern Munich, Depot, many who are in different verticals, and we see that the software there works just as good as for fashion.
don't tell the shirt designers of Bayern München they are not fashion. That's thin ice.
Exactly.
Toby. That's thin ice.
Agree. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's very interesting because that opens not only a very new market for you, but that also brings new experiences out of other assortments that have a totally different dynamic than fashion has.
Exactly.
So as you are a software and as it is obviously that is based on a very smart service, we're gonna go down to the machine room a bit and pretend that I'm an international brand, maybe even not from Germany, so we're international, and I want to work with you. And I'm new. I'm a new D2C brand. So what do I need? What do I bring with me? I mean, it's all this plug and play, and it's all about a fast onboarding or whatever the promise is. Yep. We all know that the reality is a bit different, but do you have let's say, an advantage in speed, or is where does the point lie when I come to you? Does it happen fast? Does it happen, or what happens?
Yeah, so I think definitely I would say we are quick, but there are other vendors out there who are even quicker for the reason that we very much focus on the enterprise world. Yeah, so our average customer makes way above 100 million GMV, so therefore it's by nature already more complex. Yeah, but generally when we look at the phase of implementing our service, there are three main things that need to be done. Yeah, so number one, SCAYLE needs to be configured in the backend. You need to set up product data, configure shops and the likes, which is all configuration and to actually no extent development. And there we are actually quite fast. But then you also need to integrate SCAYLE with an ERP system, your CRM system and the likes. So some integration efforts where you simply need the client to provide interfaces and the likes. And then thirdly, which is actually the biggest effort, I would say, in a headless architecture, you need to develop a front end. Yeah? And there you can select UI UX, develop a front end as you like. And this is typically the biggest part, I would say, in such a migration project. But we see that typically clients go live after 6-7 months with us, which is quite positively. So I would say in the enterprise world, we are still relatively fast.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you mentioned the complexity, and this is an interesting part because everywhere you look, it's about decoupling complexity and get rid of that big fat organizational or software architectural setups. Would you say that in the end, even for a big, you said GMV or revenue over 100 million, right?
Yep.
Well, these are big organizations. Would you say the life will be easier with SCAYLE for them, or is it just as complex as it is, right?
No, and so I think it always depends from your starting point. Yeah, but for vast majority of our clients, we made the life easier. Yeah, I'm pretty confident to say, simply for the reasoning that you have quite an extensive backend already with SCAYLE, which then also get constantly advanced by SCAYLE. Yeah, and as all our clients are on B2C lifestyle, we have a very homogeneous product roadmap. Yeah, which allows basically every client from as Oliver to Firman to extract significant value from this roadmap. So we take out the complexity in the back end and enable our customers to fully focus on the front end. And I believe that's also going to be key for all players out there, that they have a dedicated front end team who do basically the great customer experience and rely on a strong partner on the hygiene factors, because it's really not rocket science to have the right payment method in the checkout. And there's no one really buying at your place due to the payment method, but they are not buying if they don't have Klarna, PayPal, and the likes, which we all supply.
I mean, listen up, all you other players there. That's maybe an easy formula to get it right from the start, right? I mean, nobody is there because of a certain payment player, but you need to have the right ones, and it has to be, easy to use it, right? The front end has to be the decisive factor. I think that's a good one. I like that. Speaking of front end, we're coming from the machine room, we're going back up, and I want to do something called the ECD questionnaire with you now, Toby, which shows us a bit about your front end, maybe your personal and your back end, where you come from. We'll see. For all you out there, this is really true. I was preparing, and of course, we talked about what we will talk about. Toby didn't hear that at all. So this is a real surprise here, and he will be confronted with the questions for the very first time. So the game is fairly simple. This is a contradictory pair of things, the one thing, or a question that is either personal or also a bit business related, which is about what you like, what you don't like, and whatever. And
cool.
you should try to answer with your guts and belly
Gut feeling,
rather than the head. And then we can talk about it if something is very interesting or whatever happens, right? So,
yeah, sure.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Toby, what is your favorite fast food?
Burgers.
What burgers?
Royal TS from McDonald's.
This is we had that thing at an ECD lunch in Amsterdam where I did 8 interviews like that on stage, and 7 people answered with McDonald's.
Okay.
I was just thinking there's something going on here, camera, or are they endorsed? I can say now today it must be a good burger still, otherwise you wouldn't all say that it's a Royal TS or something. Okay.
Yeah, agree.
What's the one thing you own you should throw out?
I would say a subboard, which I have in the basement and I've never used on the Alster. Yeah, I really wanted to have it. And my wife is reminding me every time it's still down there since now 2.5 years and was never pumped up to enter the Alster.
Send a PM, as you say on LinkedIn, to me if you're interested in Toby's subboard.
Yeah, happy to share it.
Next one. What was the best day at work in your life so far?
I would say best day at work was beginning of the year where we brought the full team together here at SCAYLE. So my basically sales marketing unit from the respective countries. Yeah, so I think it was beginning of March, and there was for the first time the now 25 people that we have all together in a room, and everyone was introducing themselves. Yes, 1 month at SCAYLE, 4 months at SCAYLE, and the likes. And seeing now, I would say the full force of my team was quite a cool experience.
Wonderful. I mean, that's very nice to have this moment together. And if you highlight that as your highlight, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
And to me, if I may, it's still also that post-pandemic break thing where we couldn't have that for such a long time, especially in the work environment with all these precautions. And still it is when I come to the office, like this week, we had a very big gathering in the office, and suddenly you see 100, 110 people, not only the usual 5.
Yeah, exactly.
That's still something special. I don't know. That changed maybe forever. I don't know.
Yeah, agree. No, it's definitely good to be back in the meeting rooms and not always in the video calls.
Yeah. Well, this one is very special though. Next one. What is your favorite action movie?
My favorite action movie would be Batman. Is it action movie? Would you count that as action movie? Yeah.
Which one? The old ones? The Christopher Nolan ones?
The more recent one that just went, I think, 1 or 2 years ago on the cinemas. Yeah. Must be 2 years.
The most recent one. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Was it the new Batman, so to speak? So not the Christopher Nolan era, Heath Ledger, nothing. The new one.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. No, that's a good choice. It's an interesting movie, I must say.
Yeah.
And Batman is if I would ask for a superhero, that would be mine. So, by the way,
perfect.
Window or aisle?
Aisle, because I have quite long legs. Yeah, so I always need to sit on the aisle.
I couldn't judge, but I believe you.
Yeah.
What is the most used app on your phone?
I must say Instagram, but I'm not proud of it, to be honest. Yeah, I moved it already away from the main screen, but this didn't work, and I also tried to. Exactly. But it's really an entertainment platform for me these days. Yeah, it's no longer social media, but it's really after a long day of work, scrolling some reels. That's really which is relaxing. Yeah.
I agree 100%. It's just it's seducing. You just cannot stop at one point, and it's fun. It's not bad. After 20 minutes, you think, "Where am I?" But it's okay. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
You only get one song to listen for the rest of your life. What song is it? Which song?
Oof, that's a tough one. I would say probably something from Coldplay. So that's probably my most favorite band. But now picking one is rather difficult, I would say, because they have quite a lot of songs. Yeah. So I would probably go with the Coldplay album they have. Yeah.
That's a good one. I would still stick to Yellow. I don't know that.
Yeah, Yellow is
first
good.
ever song Coldplay that is, I don't know, my Coldplay song. But it's a good choice.
Yeah, Yellow is a good one. Yeah.
It's a good one, right? You can sing it along. You can just listen to it over and over again, which you have to do because it's the only song.
I agree.
Last one. Describe your company SCAYLE in 5 words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Great product, nice people, cool. That's it already. Yeah.
Great product and nice people. I mean, what else can you say?
Yeah. Exactly.
Great
4
product,
out of 5.
Great product and nice people. I count that as 5.
We make it
fantastic.
5. Perfect.
Toby, many thanks for that. That was fun. I always love that to hear what you think. You people think about things.
Definitely.
We come back to business for a little last minutes here. Coming back to you and to SCAYLE, and you said you're director growth, and you must be thinking a lot about the future and where do we go, where do we grow to, right?
Yep.
So let us know what comes next. How does SCAYLE again surprise the e-commerce industry tomorrow? What do you have in your pockets?
Yeah. So I think what comes next from SCAYLE is very much, I would say, continue to make clients happy and win further clients. Yeah, it's not really surprising or news, but what we see is in the industry that we still need to basically improve the experience both shop managers have, but also customers from a commerce perspective. Yeah. So obviously we're going to enhance omnichannel functionalities because Deichmann, Vielmann, and many of our other customers have basically strong store presence, and we do see that many are yet at the beginning there. Yeah, so it's basically implementing this. So basically making the product better in omnichannel features, personalization, discounts, which we look at, loyalty. So I would say enhancing the already very strong product. That is for us key. And then secondly, I would say supporting the clients even more from a business perspective. Also, in particular, this year have been challenging, I would say, for all of us. And there we really saw strong demand. Can we talk about Black Friday, how to best prepare? Can we basically discuss how to drive efficiency in your marketing budgets and the like? So we see that next to technology, more and more clients start to engage with us on business service side. So that's going to definitely be a focus for all our existing clients. Important to highlight, we only offer it for existing clients to support them to do well in e-commerce in those difficult times.
Okay, I mean, that's great. It's a successful business, and then stay there for a while and enhance and get better with what you do. Maybe one additional thing, because you mentioned it's a challenging year for everyone in the industry. I mean, no matter who you talk to. Is that also maybe one reason to be a bit more careful with, let's say, innovative stuff, innovations, or don't, let's say, put too much out there that the clients might not be able to use because everyone is in this challenge of this year, and to be a bit more patient about new stuff? Is that also a reason, or is that not the reason?
Yeah, so I think that's not really the reason, because we do see or continue to see high demand for our product. Yeah, even though customers see difficulties out there in the market, because everyone wants to be ready now with the modern architecture to then accelerate once the market comes back. Yeah, so that's also why I would say from the product team, they are doing everything to build new features. Yeah, in the core. Of our commerce solution, but it's not going to be now the new fancy stuff out there, which is based on AI and the likes. Yeah, so I do believe we have further groundwork to be done in e-commerce Germany before we jump there.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a good bridge, by the way, to my last part here, because of course I have to do a bit of a promotion for the ECD, which is going to happen on July the 6th, which is by the day of the recording next week, 1 week to go. And SCAYLE is the main sponsor of it. And because we're coming from that little discussion about a challenging year, that's the moment when you come together to talk about it and to have conversations. And that always leads to any kind of solution, be it small ones, be it big ones. Come together, come to the ECD, meet SCAYLE, meet us, it's going to help you to maybe get some obstacles out of the way. We are very excited about that. We're very excited that you are part of this. What expectations do you have? I mean, you're not there, unfortunately, and you are there as SCAYLE for the first time, obviously, because the ECD is the first ECD since 2019. You didn't exist back then. So what is your conversations within SCAYLE? What do you expect? Or you have some colleagues that have been there in the past.
Yeah, exactly. So a big team from our side will join and is quite excited already. I think for us, it's going to be very much on individual conversations about how to address the challenges that we currently face. We also, a colleague of mine, Femke, will have a presentation on how to increase profitability, because we really see that's the main theme. So we very much look forward to discuss with people what's top of mind with them. And I think there it's really unique that in your event, there comes a very homogeneous group together, which have the same challenges. And I think, at least, or from the talks, in difficult times, everyone gets closer even more to discuss solutions. And that's why the full team here is super excited to meet everyone next week.
Oh, wow. I love to hear that. Then coming to an end, won't let you go maybe with giving you also the chance to promote SCAYLE at the ECD. So maybe as famous last words, why should every one of our visitors and our guests meet SCAYLE at the ECD? Give me a reason. Give them a reason.
Yeah, I think two main reasons. Number one, it's an amazing product we have, both from architecture but also from feature side. So that's reason number one. And reason number two, I do believe we are quite nice guys here from Hamburg who are all very passionate about commerce and would be definitely interested to work with you in solving your challenges.
I take that. That's a good one. Tobi, I thank you so much for taking the time. We finally made it, and could talk forever. That's very interesting. We should do that again maybe next year and see what happened at SCAYLE. Thank you out there as well. So thanks, Tobi. See you soon. Thanks, guys, for watching this, and be there or be square. That's a little box package of tickets left. If you want, just go to ecd.de or ecd-gate.com, purchase the last remaining tickets, and be part of the one and only marketplace networking conference and event next week, July the 6th in Munich Wappenhalle. Having that said, enough of promotion. Have a nice day. See you next time. Goodbye.